1492. Columbus's first voyage. In August 1492, Christopher Columbus set sail from Spain with 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Niña. Funded by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain, Columbus aimed to find a westward route to Asia. On October 12, 1492, after weeks at sea, he landed on an island in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador. This marked the first documented European contact with the Americas since the Norse expeditions centuries earlier. Columbus encountered the Taino people, who were friendly and generous. Believing he had reached the East Indies, Columbus called them Indians. He explored other islands in the Caribbean, including present-day Cuba and Hispaniola, modern-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic. On Hispaniola, he established the first Spanish settlement in the Americas, La Navidad, leaving behind 39 men before returning to Spain in 1493. 1493. Columbus's second voyage. Columbus returned to the Americas in late 1493 with a much larger fleet of 17 ships and over 1,000 men, including soldiers, settlers, and priests. His goal was to establish permanent colonies and convert indigenous peoples to Christianity. Upon returning to Hispaniola, Columbus found La Navidad destroyed and the men he had left behind killed, likely due to conflicts with the Taino. Columbus established a new settlement, La Isabela, but it struggled due to disease, poor planning, and tensions with the Taino. During this voyage, Columbus explored Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles, further mapping the Caribbean. However, his treatment of the indigenous peoples grew increasingly harsh, as he enslaved many and demanded tribute in gold. 1494. The Treaty of Tordesillas. As news of Columbus's discoveries spread, Spain and Portugal sought to avoid conflict over newly discovered lands. In 1494, they signed the Treaty of Tordesillas, brokered by the Catholic Church. The treaty divided the non-European world into 2 spheres of influence. Spain claimed lands west of a meridian line in the Atlantic, while Portugal claimed lands to the east. This agreement gave Spain control over most of the Americas, while Portugal focused on Africa and Asia. 1496. Santo Domingo. Founded in 1496, Columbus's brother, Bartholomew, founded Santo Domingo on Hispaniola, which became the first permanent European settlement in the Americas. Santo Domingo served as the capital of Spanish colonial rule in the New World and became a hub for further exploration and conquest. 1497–1498. John Cabot and Columbus's third voyage. In 1497, John Cabot, an Italian explorer sailing under the English flag, reached the coast of North America, likely landing in present-day Newfoundland or Nova Scotia. His voyage marked the first documented European exploration of the North American mainland since the Norse. Cabot's discovery gave England a claim to North America, though it would be decades before England established permanent colonies. Meanwhile, Columbus embarked on his third voyage in 1498. This time, he reached the mainland of South America, exploring present-day Venezuela. He realized he had encountered a vast landmass, but he still believed it was part of Asia. However, his mismanagement of Hispaniola led to growing discontent among settlers, and in 1500, he was arrested and sent back to Spain in chains. 1499–1502. The age of exploration expanded between 1499 and 1502. Other explorers began to follow in Columbus's wake. Spanish explorer Alonso de Ojeda explored the northern coast of South America, while Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian navigator sailing for Spain and Portugal, mapped much of the eastern coast of South America. Vespucci's letters and maps played a key role in convincing Europeans that the lands Columbus had discovered were part of a New World, not Asia. This realization led to the naming of the continents as America, in his honor. 1502–1504. Columbus's fourth voyage. Columbus made his final voyage to the Americas in 1502, exploring the coast of Central America, including present-day Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. He hoped to find a passage to Asia but instead encountered storms, shipwrecks, and hostile indigenous tribes. Stranded on Jamaica for a year, Columbus and his crew were eventually rescued and returned to Spain in 1504. By this time, Columbus had fallen out of favor with the Spanish crown, and his role in exploration diminished. 1505. The seeds of colonization. By 1505, the Spanish had established a foothold in the Caribbean, particularly on Hispaniola. The colonization of the Americas was underway, with settlers exploiting indigenous labor and resources. The encomienda system, which granted Spanish settlers control over indigenous communities, began to take shape, laying the groundwork for centuries of exploitation and conflict. Conclusion. A turning point in history. The years between 1492 and 1505 were a turning point in world history. Columbus's voyages opened the door to European exploration and colonization of the Americas, leading to the Columbian Exchange, a transfer of plants, animals, people, and ideas between the Old and New Worlds. However, this era also marked the beginning of immense suffering for indigenous peoples, as European diseases, warfare, and exploitation devastated their populations and cultures. The events of this period set the stage for the eventual rise of the United States of America, but they also remind us of the complex and often tragic legacy of discovery and colonization.